Happy Monday. Welcome back to Melanie Loves Death Metal. It is Memorial Day here in the US, so it's a holiday. No work today, so that means also no school. So the kids and everybody are home today, so apologies if you hear them in the background. They're always loud, yelling, playing video games and screaming and whatever else. But this is a new series that I'm probably going to start doing every Monday. 3 death metal albums to start your week off right. Check out the one from last week. I showed off 3 tapes. Today I'm going to show off 3 CDs that I just randomly pulled off my shelf, and things that I've actually have listened to fairly recently within the last couple of weeks. And I thought, you know what, these are perfect. I'm trying to pick things that are a little bit more underground, maybe not as well known. However, if you watch my channel, chances are you probably already heard these and probably already know these, but I'll see how well I can do with this. But the first one I have is this band. So they have a new album out this year. I've showed off the tape a couple of times already, but this is Putrid, with their previous album that came out in 2023 called Repulsie Postmortem. This is on Cavernous Records, and I can't remember. Cavernous Records might also have done the tape. I can't remember. Maybe not. I think they only do CDs. But yeah, this is pretty much what got me into the band, with the exception of a few of their demo tracks that were released back in 2020, which, by the way, I'm chasing that cassette. Hopefully I can find a copy of that. I think I saw it on Discogs fairly recently, but this is pretty much a phenomenal album. It's like groovy. It's got a groovy sound to it, but it's definitely death metal, a very Putrid style of vocals, like a little bit more of a slower paced death metal, with some old school death metal riffage as well, and these very like guitars that are just very I don't know what the right word for it is, but they get stuck in your head. Every single song is super catchy, super Putrid, and very just lower guttural style of vocals, not guttural like brutal death metal, but just very low growls, with a bit of a slower pace, but also heavy as hell, and also can feel pretty faster pace at times too. But it's got this it's hard to explain. You have to listen to it, but it's a phenomenal album. And I love their new album that's out this year. Is probably going to be one of my favorites to come out this year. I showed that off several times. So here's the booklet. These guys are out of Romania, and this is their first full-length album, I should say. And so they've only got 2 full-length albums, but they've got several splits and singles and a couple of demos, and there's a compilation and stuff like that. But this is pretty much this is their first full-length album. So simply phenomenal album. I love their logo. I'm a huge fan of this band now. It's probably one of my favorite modern death metal bands at the moment, and I really cannot wait for more music to be added to their discography. But obviously their new album just came out. The artwork is done by Jan P. Whitney. I'm not too sure if you can pause that and see it right there. Those are all the credits, but I love the artwork of this. That's essentially what you're listening to, but it's not in the cerebral rot way. Whenever I say it's very putrid and swampy sounding, people assume it's cerebral rot. It's definitely not in that. There's a little bit more clarity to it in that regards, but definitely has a very very murky sound to it, but also a little bit slighter, like old school death metal guitars. You just have to listen to it. It's a phenomenal album. Their new album is very good too. So Putrid, check them out. And here's a snippet. Really quick, forgot to mention, there's also an Asphyx cover at the end of this album, which is very good. The vocal style, they nailed it, and it's called Rites of Shades Asphyx cover. There you go. Now here's the snippet for real.
Du har jag
So the next thing that I have is this band actually sent this to me a while back, and I talked about it fairly recently on my channel, but I pulled it off the shelf again this week and listened to it, and I listened to it again today, and my God, this is such a great EP. Pestilent Death with Pathways to Infinite Malignity. This is their EP from last year, out on Rotted Life Records, right there. And this is actually phenomenal. I think this is some of the best stuff that they've ever written in their discography. They have 2 other full lengths out. Chapters of Depravity is a great album. I've had that in my collection ever since it came out back in 2019. So it had been a while since these guys had released anything, and then they finally popped a new EP out. US death metal band, definitely a modern death metal band that does the dark, heavy crushing old school style of death metal like perfect, and this has a little bit more of the modern sound to it. It is just so dark and crushingly heavy. Very, very good. Phenomenal guitars. I love the vocal styles. There's a little bit of a like a suffocating cavernous to this as well, until you get to the 3rd track, Revulsions of Immaculate Flesh. It is just fast as hell. These drums, I'm like, this almost sounds like a death grind song at this point. Like, that's definitely the most different track on here. Phenomenal song, though. This band is so good. I really hope that they're writing new music right now and having a new album coming out soon. And all the artwork is done by Mark Riddick on this EP. There is also a cassette tape on Rotted Life as well, if you're a cassette tape fiend. Or a tape head, and then the CD, and I don't know if they actually pressed this on vinyl. I'm not too sure. I can't remember. If they did, chances are Rotted Life did that too. But yeah, phenomenal band. These guys are so good. One of the best, like, new wave of old school death metal bands back in like 2019 when that started coming back. This is like one of the best underground death metal bands that does it right. It's just so dark and suffocating and heavy as hell, and they write phenomenal guitar riffs. I love the vocal styles. And like I said, that 3rd track on here was relatively different compared to the other 3, but I really liked it. The really faster paced tempo death metal song had those like death grindy drums to it. Very just in your face and crushing. So yeah, phenomenal EP. Check this band out if you've never heard them. They're so good. Their last 2 albums are so good. And then their promo from 2012, or sorry, not their promo, their demo is phenomenal. I actually just found that on Discogs, and I have it in my cart right now, so I'm probably going to order it. And then there's other demo from 2014 is really good. Just everything that they've released is so good. So this is the next band that I'm trying to get everything back into my collection. I do have Chapters of Depravity on vinyl, and then Eulogies of Putrefaction, the first full length. I don't remember. Do I have that on tape? I know I have it, and I think I have it in a box. I still haven't. I've said this like 1,000 times. I have it in a box. I haven't unpacked yet. But yeah, I'm starting to get more storage so I can get my collection out and not so packed away. But yeah, Pestilent Death. Check this out again. Mark Riddick with the fantastic artwork. I'll take the booklet out to show you without the glare. So thank you guys for sending this to me. They also sent me a really awesome t-shirt that I wear all the time. Again, one of my favorite death metal logos that they have. And then there's that awesome Mark Riddick artwork that goes perfectly with this. He did all of the like borders and stuff too. And you can tell that it's Mark Riddick. He's got his style. As you guys know, he's my favorite artist. So yeah, phenomenal EP. Check this out. I think a lot of you that hear this will really enjoy it. And then finally, to get your Monday started off, your week started off right, This was one of my favorite albums back in 2023. I still listen to this quite a bit. I pulled it off the shelf last week and have been listening to it almost every day, and I recently bought another copy of it to send to a friend of mine. We do a lot of trades and stuff when it comes to CDs, and he did not have this in his collection, and I was like, you need to have this in your collection. Depraved Murder with Unethical Terrestrial Collapse on Comatose Music. So this is a brutal death metal band out of Indonesia, but I need you to understand this is not like some of those just ridiculous brutal death metal bands that are just so over the top, super layered, like plug-in sounding guitars and just like those crazy vocals that are just kind of hard to get into. I know a lot of people that watch my channel are not the biggest brutal death metal fans, but this definitely has that brutal death metal sound to it, but there's also more of the death metal leanings into there as well. It's definitely a brutal death metal album, don't get me wrong, but I think this is a very good introduction into brutal death metal if you're not wanting to like go straight into like Butcher the Weak Devourment brutal death metal. If you want to just kind of segue and find some bands that are not as extreme like that, this is a very good band. Very good album. This is my favorite album they've released so far. Manifestation came out in 2019, and I thought that album was phenomenal. This one blew my mind when it came out in 2023. And like I said, I still listen to it quite a bit. Pretty sure they're a two-piece too, and then of course this artwork is just simply stellar. So again, there's no slam into it, so keep that in mind. Sometimes I show brutal death metal and people are like, oh, there's slam elements into it that you didn't mention, and I'm like, sometimes it kind of blends together because I listen to so much of that now lately, but there's definitely no slamming elements into this. This is a very good, straightforward brutal death metal style album. A little bit more of that modern death metal style to it, but it is very well written. Phenomenal. I love the vocals on here. And again, all this artwork and the details of this booklet are so good. I absolutely love this artwork. So they're a two-piece band, and they just very, very good. Like I said, probably one of my favorite brutal death metal bands right now, or just death metal bands as a whole. And then the artwork on this is, let me find it. Cover art is by, I don't know how to say his name, unfortunately. If you can pause that and read it. Cover art by Agi. I don't want to butcher his name. So phenomenal stuff. If you have not heard this album, but you've heard their past albums, check this out. I think this is probably their best album that they've released so far. Their last two albums are very phenomenal, but there is a much more like, mature sounding like writing styles on this. It's very good. When it comes to a brutal death metal album, especially something that's been come out fairly recently, I tend to pull this one quite a bit now. And again, that cover art is so good. It's kind of hard to see in the camera because it's very blue and black, but phenomenal. So check them out. I tried to pull 3 different styles of death metal today. And I think a lot of you will enjoy this, especially if you're trying to get into brutal death metal. Like I said, this is a very good band to start with, especially with this album. So and that's it. Those are the 3 albums I have to get you through the week. A little bit of a shorter video today. I'm going to go and record another video that I'm going to be posting on my social medias later. Again, I have a shop open. I've been getting a couple of orders a week now, so thank you so much. I appreciate you guys. I got a couple of samples in 2 days ago that I'm going to show off in the channel on a video at a later time. I'll do like a merch video and show off what everything looks like and stuff, so you can get a general idea. And if you've bought stuff from me, like I said, tag me on Instagram or send me an email or something or a message and let me know how it looks. And then, yeah, that's all I have. I hope you guys are having a great Memorial Day if you're in the U.S., or just a great Monday as a whole, and I hope this gets your week started off right.